Welcome everybody. My name is Michael and today is a beautiful but rather chilly day. We're discussing about countries that are accepting of countries that are accepting of cryptocurrency and not just embrace it, but actually are tax havens for it. So these might be similar to countries that might be tax havens for regular assets, but there's some on this list that in particular have a special set of laws straight for cryptocurrency. They're allowing of it, they're okay with it. So, beautiful sunset in Evanston, Illinois. Absolutely one of my favorite places to chillax. Unfortunately, the beaches aren't public anymore, but, well, they are, but they're paid. So, it is what it is. 11 countries that are okay with cryptocurrency. No taxes. That's right. Now, not all of these countries may be the best places to live in the world, but that's okay. So let's begin our list. Number 1, Belarus. Belarus, right next door to Poland and north of Ukraine, over to the east, Russia, over to the west, obviously Poland, and further Russia and Lithuania at the top. So, interesting place. One of the only dictatorships left in Europe still. But they've had some interesting laws regarding cryptocurrency in Ukraine as well. Ooh, that's a nice BMW i8. So Belarus is definitely up there. And I'm sure it's one of the only places besides Chernobyl and some small little museums in Russia that you're going to find lots of statues of Lenin. Pretty interesting fun fact. They still got lots of them in Belarus. Okay, next up, Germany. That's right. Also, neighbors with Poland. The middle of Europe, a pretty good place to live in terms of the salaries, in terms of the benefits, and a pretty wealthy country as well. So you would need to know some German to get by, but you got the Autobahns, and Germany's on that list. Next up, Malaysia. That's right. So a lot of nomads, including the capitalist nomad, chooses Malaysia as one of his top 3 places. A lot of nomads enjoy Malaysia. They say it's a pretty safe place and there's a lot of opportunity over there if you know what you're doing. If you're bringing in money and you know how to invest right, it's the place to be. So it's kind of like the cheaper Singapore, cheaper Hong Kong. Speaking of that, that brings us to number 4, Hong Kong. Now, this is interesting because Hong Kong's going to be a part of China pretty soon. I mean, technically, they still got some time on the clock, but China's kind of spinning things up a little bit. So just keep that in mind if you were to move to Hong Kong. It's going to have quite a few changes, not just the law, but everything pretty much. And there's obviously been protests you've been hearing about in the news. But Hong Kong is a very capitalistic place to be. There's a lot of money. And one of those benefits is for cryptocurrency holders. Well, okay. Next up, this may not come as a surprise to anybody, El Salvador. That's right. It's the first country in the world, and not the last, to fully legalize Bitcoin as tender currency. That's right. El Salvador. They're going to have thousands of Bitcoin ATMs. They're making a nationwide cryptocurrency wallet for all of its citizens. They're airdropping Bitcoin. Obviously, you've been hearing about it in the news. So it is a tax-free zone for Bitcoin. Pretty cool stuff. Slovenia. So this is an interesting country, small little country in Europe, and a lot of people don't even know it exists. They confuse it with Slovakia. Slovakia is right underneath Poland. Slovenia is a little bit further down, and a lot of people get this confused. Melania Trump, she's from Slovenia. She's not from Slovakia, from Slovenia. Okay, Switzerland. Out of all the 11 countries in the world, 11 on this list, but also all the countries in the world that I wish I had passports to, it's Switzerland. It's one of the most beautiful countries in the world, and if you've never been to Zermatt, the Matterhorn mountain that you see on the logo of Toblerone chocolates, I'm tearing up right now. It's just so beautiful over there. It is And it's raining right now. It seriously is one of the most beautiful countries in the world. Unfortunately, fortunately for them, it's very wealthy. Unfortunately for the rest of the world, it's very difficult to get into Switzerland. And even if you know the language, there's multiple languages that you have to know, because it's not just German, it's also French and Italian, and I think you have to know too, and there's different dialects, and there's different, it gets pretty interesting and pretty complex. But to get a passport over there, to get a citizenship, it's one of the toughest nations in the world to get into. But if you're there, I mean, Rolexes are cheaper. Woo! I guess, sort of. It's a beautiful country. And obviously they're very lax in terms of the banking system and in terms of cryptocurrency as well. So Malta, I've also been there, and it's a place I wouldn't want to live. It's a terrible country in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. Some people say it's so beautiful. I think it looks like Afghanistan, but it's I don't like Malta. I've been there. I don't like it. I'm entitled to my own opinion. I don't like the food. I don't like the people. I mean, maybe the people are okay. Nothing against them, whatever. But I don't like the way it looks. It's tiny. It's not comfortable. I don't like the food. Tried multiple restaurants. I don't like it. I mean, the only good thing I see about it is, the tax benefits, and that's it. So, a lot of people are actually moving to Malta for specific tax benefits, and that's kind of interesting to think about. So next up, Portugal. This is a place that I would also want to live in. Lots of benefits. Pretty cheap for an American or a British expat to move to. It's pretty nice. So it's definitely something to think about. They got great food. Porto. So pretty cool stuff. Singapore. Yeah, Singapore, also another Southeast Asian country that's on the list. And this one, it's expensive. It is the Asian Dubai, essentially. So we're going to get to everything. And also Bermuda. Let's not forget about Bermuda, our nice little Caribbean hideaway for not just cryptocurrency taxes, but for a lot of other taxes. And this is an island people forget about. It's there. So let's go into the details. Let's run through all the details of all these countries really quick. And voila. If you have $1 million or more in Bitcoin, you might be thinking of a move. Good for you. Got these little Japanese candies. Looks like mochi. Little rice cakes. Strawberry. Pretty interesting. Waiting for my sushi. Yeah, trying out supposedly the best sushi in Evanston. We'll be the judge of that. I love sushi. It's the one food that I could eat every single day. Really big waves tonight. Super windy. Pretty good stuff. Man, I love sushi. Can't wait. One day I want to go to Japan, try real sushi. Mwah. So, out of all the countries we have listed, some are a little bit more liberal to taxing Bitcoin gains. Others, it's still good enough, right? So, Belarus. Under a new law, mining and investing in cryptocurrencies are deemed as personal investments and so are exempt from income tax and capital gains. They're pretty liberal. The country was recently ranked 3rd in Eastern Europe and 19th globally in terms of levels of peer-to-peer crypto trading. In 2018 March, they legalized with a new law cryptocurrency activities that exempt individuals and businesses involved in them from taxes until 2023. And then it'll come up for review, so possibly it's going to get extended and extended and extended, so we'll see about that. On to Germany. They offer a little bit more of a unique idea on taxing Bitcoin. So unlike most other European nations, they regard Bitcoin as private money. It's not currency, it's not a commodity or stock. Any cryptocurrency held by a German citizen for over a year is tax exempt, regardless of the amount. If the assets are held for less than a year, capital gains tax doesn't accrue on sale, as long as the amount does not exceed €600. That's $692. However, for businesses, it's a little little different. So in terms of startups, they still need to pay corporate income taxes on their gains, just as they would with any other asset. But in 2021, there was a controversial new tax law that came into force, and it effectively kills crypto derivatives, as losses can no longer be deducted. As everybody knows, taxes are huge. They can take up to 30, 40, maybe even up to 50% of your income. But with deductibles, especially for a business, you can save a lot of money. However, if something cannot be deducted, no matter what you do, that's thousands, tens of thousands, potentially hundreds of thousands, or even millions of dollars that are lost every single year to that individual or corporation. On to Hong Kong. So it's technically not a country. Like we said, it's moving into China. It's a special administrative region of China, as they like to call it. They have theoretical autonomy over their own affairs, and their tax legislation, well, they had some new guidances that were issued. So essentially, cryptocurrencies are taxed, but they're not really. I mean, it depends. So if digital assets are bought for long-term investment purposes, any profits from disposal would not be chargeable to profits tax. But it doesn't apply to corporations. So Hong Kong source profits from cryptocurrency businesses are taxable. However, you could be in Hong Kong but registered outside as a corporation, and there's always loopholes, of course. Bitcoin is considered a virtual commodity for tax purposes, at least for now, according to their legislation. So El Salvador, they have made Bitcoin legal tender. It will exempt foreign investors from paying tax on their Bitcoin gains. That's from the president himself. If a person has assets in Bitcoin and makes high profits, there will be no tax. This is done, obviously, to encourage foreign investment. There will be no taxes to pay on either the capital increase or the income. Now, there's a legal framework that still has to go into effect, and I'm sure there's going to be some taxes here and there, but for foreigners, it's pretty welcome. Malaysia. Cryptocurrency transactions are currently tax-free. Cryptocurrencies do not qualify for capital gains tax because they're not considered assets or legal tender by the authorities. However, profits may be regarded as revenue and thus considered taxable income. If the transaction is more of a capital gain, passive, or is done occasionally, unplanned, or unsystematic, then the profit from such sale and purchase is a tax-free income. However, active, systematic, and repeated trading means that the party is considered to have conducted a transaction or a profession, and the profits generated from those transactions are subject to an income tax. Businesses involved in crypto are likewise subject to an income tax. For Malta, it's considered blockchain island. They recognize Bitcoin as a unit of account, medium of exchange, or store of value. Malta does not apply capital gains tax to long-held digital currencies like Bitcoin, but crypto traders are considered similar to day trading in stocks or shares, and they attract business income tax at a rate of 35%. That's pretty steep. However, this can be mitigated to between 5% and 0% through structuring options available under the Maltese system. So, Bitcoin, Malta discriminates between Bitcoin and so-called financial tokens. A lot of ICOs, a lot of altcoins, and also equivalent to dividends, interests, or premiums. The latter are treated as income and are taxed at an applicable rate, 20, 30, 35%. Portugal, they have one of the most crypto-friendly tax regimes in the entire world. Proceeds from the sale of cryptocurrencies by individuals have been tax exempt for the past 3 years, and cryptocurrency trading is not considered investment income, which would normally be subject to a 28% tax rate. However, businesses that accept digital currencies as payment for goods or services are liable to income taxes. Singapore. Capital gains tax does not exist at all in Singapore, so neither individuals nor corporations holding crypto are liable. But companies based in Singapore are liable to income tax if their core business is crypto trading or if they accept crypto as a payment. The authorities consider payments tokens such as Bitcoin to be intangible property rather than legal tender, and payment into cryptocurrency constitutes a barter trade when the goods and services are taxed but not the payment token itself. Slovenia, they treat individuals and businesses separately. For cryptocurrencies, no capital gains tax is levied on individuals when they sell Bitcoin, and gains are not considered income. However, companies that receive payments in crypto or through mining are required to pay tax at the corporate rate. Token distributions during ICOs are also subject to tax rates of up to 50%. So, as you see, some countries are a little bit more liberal. It also depends on what you're doing exactly, and it's usually generally worse for crypto corporations. They also don't permit business operations in cryptocurrency alone, such as only accepting Bitcoin as payment. Crypto communities in the country are currently working closely with regulators and taxing authorities in order to bring clarity to its tax law and hopefully make it a little bit less stringent, but still, it's pretty liberal compared to a lot of other countries in the world. Switzerland. Cryptocurrency profits made by a qualified individual through investing and trading are treated as tax-exempt capital gains. Income from professional trading and mining is subject to income tax. Notably, tax laws differ regionally, and an annual wealth tax is levied on the total amount of crypto owned, along with the rest of an individual's net worth. So, this could be a good or bad thing, but of course, there's always loopholes to get around this. And finally, Bermuda. It doesn't tax crypto gains. It's a tax haven, a traditional tax haven, and digital assets aren't singled out for special consideration. They have a blanket low tax regime for pretty much everything. It doesn't impose income, capital gains, withholding, or other taxes on digital assets or on transactions involving digital assets. What taxes there are can now be paid for using crypto too. In October 2019, Bermuda became the first government in the world to accept payments for taxes, fees, and other government services using USDC. Wow, that's pretty cool. So, where are you moving? Thanks so much for watching today's video, guys. If you enjoyed it, hit that subscribe button. I always appreciate every single new viewer on this channel. So, see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.